Hello and welcome to my channel. Here I want to share some of my memories, which I hope will appeal to you. Let's watch one of them now. The unbearable lightness of vice. It's the late 1990s, and I'm in Almaty, the former capital of Kazakhstan, working as the general manager of a beverage company. That year, it was our turn to organize the traditional sauna dinner for the business association we were part of. Every year, this gathering took place at a sauna facility owned by one of the members. I was aware that saunas played a significant role in Soviet culture, but I had no idea what kind of experience awaited me. Since we didn't have a sauna at our facility, a neighboring factory kindly stepped in to host the event, while we covered the expenses. When the big night came, my Kazakh assistant accompanied me, as most of the conversations would be in Russian. The hosts welcomed us warmly. First, they led us to a locker room-like area, where we completely undressed and wrapped ourselves in large white towels. I was surprised but went along with it. It felt like a strange mix of gladiators preparing for battle and a bewildered Roman Senate gathering. We then moved to the dining room, where a massive table was set. The saying goes that only bird's milk was missing, meaning the feast had everything one could imagine. The attendance at the dinner was quite high. The guests were the owners of the companies operating in the food and beverage sectors. Under Soviet rule, these businesses were state-run, but after the USSR collapsed, their former managers somehow became the new owners or partners. The host gave an opening speech, explaining why the gathering was held at their facility, and then added, "I hope our neighbor builds his own sauna soon, so next time, he can host us there." With that, the first toast was raised in my honor. As I lifted my goblet, I laughed outwardly with moderate joy, though my true feelings were more complex. A Turkish company including a sauna in its factory investment plan? That would never happen. Both Russians and Kazakhs enjoy drinking and have an impressive tolerance. One of my favorite cultural aspects was how the host frequently gave short speeches, often humorous, and encouraged each guest to speak. After every speech, glasses were raised in honor of someone, and the trick was to take small sips to avoid ending up under the table. However, if the host said bottoms up, finishing the glass became a matter of courtesy. The main course at such gatherings was horse meat. I had heard that, as a sign of respect, the eyes of the horse were traditionally offered to the most prestigious guest at the table. Being the only foreigner present, I worried that I might be bestowed with this honor. Fortunately, my concern was unnecessary. The meal was lively, with laughter and endless toasts. Meanwhile, vodka and wine flowed like water. Since I drank in moderation, I managed to stay pleasantly tipsy. Suddenly I felt hands on my shoulders. To my surprise, it was a masseur. He started with me, giving each guest a neck and shoulder massage before leading us, one by one, into the sauna to continue. I hesitated to enter the sauna, aware that the combination of intense heat and alcohol could be risky. However, seeing much older, heavily intoxicated men come and go without issue, I decided to give it a try. I lasted about 10 minutes inside the scorching sauna, where the masseur continued his work using a bundle of thin oak leaves called a venik, a term I later learned meant broom in English. It was said to stimulate blood circulation and boost vitality. To be honest, I didn't notice much of a difference. Despite the immense alcohol consumption and the extreme heat, everyone miraculously made it through the night unscathed. As the evening went on, conversations deepened and laughter grew louder. My assistant translated for me, allowing me to participate occasionally, though I mostly listened, fascinated by this culture I was only beginning to understand. Then, suddenly, my assistant leaned in and whispered, "Now the competition has started." When I asked, "What competition?" the answer was shocking. "They are discussing who stole better." I listened with growing astonishment. As far as I recall, there was no clear winner, but each guest openly bragged about their skills in theft, all amidst laughter. What fascinated me most was how they discussed their actions so openly, as if it were a source of pride rather than shame. One story stood out. A former Soviet-era factory manager, now a beer factory partner, recounted how they used to steal beer. They used to sell beer openly and replace the stolen amount by filling the beer tanks with water. Since the monthly stock counts never showed discrepancies, this scheme continued for a while until the day came when only water, not beer, flowed from the tanks. What happened next? No one said, but the fact that the man was now a co-owner of the factory spoke volumes. Years later, a Turkmen friend told me, in our region, using state resources without hesitation is a way of life. It's not considered shameful. And she added, we even have a saying, the state's property is like the sea, those who don't take advantage are naive as can be. I had always thought this saying came from Turkey, but that night, I realized its meaning varied across cultures. In Turkish culture, the phrase carries a tone of criticism or even disdain. In the old Soviet culture, however, it seemed to serve as a tool for justification and encouragement. As a Turk, I couldn't help but think, others are even worse than we are. Thank you for watching. I'd really appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe. If you have a memory to share, feel free to send it to my email. I might turn it into a video and feature it here.